I'm Eric.
And I'm Steve.
Masters 25 hits and misses.
Are we expecting too much from these sets?
Let's talk about it.
Welcome, Planeswalkers, to episode 21 of Let's Talk About It. We'd like to start off with Patreon, because we keep forgetting to mention it.
Yes.
That's kind of my bad, because I kind of roll into the topic too quick, and then Eric's just like, oh, hold on. So anyway, check it out.
We'll put a link in the description.
Yes, yes.
The basic $1 level, all we do is we'll put your name on or your Patreon tag or whatever at the start of our videos. So
Such an honor.
yeah, I mean, if for two, we'll actually talk about you.
Ho, 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 ho. I like it.
But yeah, if you guys feel like it, and if you're not a subscriber, subscribe too. That will help. And then nobody's got to give us money except for those faceless ad companies. So
AdSense.
Yes.
So yeah, here we are, episode 21. We wanted to focus on Masters 25. There's a few, like our last episode was basically going over what we were expecting from the set. We actually just checked that out. We didn't really get any of that right.
I think we got 2 cards.
Yeah, Lightning Bolt and Thalia.
We might have been a little greedy, I think.
And that kind of rolls into the second half of this video. Is like, what should we truly expect from these sets? This is the last one, as you may or may not have heard at this point. They are shifting it to be more, I guess, theme friendly instead of like Masters set, which could be good.
Lay that on me really quick.
Oh, you didn't know about that?
No, I don't.
Oh gosh, okay. Well,
I'll
get you guys up to speed and Eric up to speed. So essentially an article came out, I think it was last Friday, something like that, basically stating that this was the last Masters set.
Okay.
As far as the Masters set, the way they have been built.
Okay.
So there won't be a Modern Masters, there won't be an Eternal Masters, there won't be like what we were all hoping for as a Commander Masters.
Yeah.
But what they're going to do is now they're going to start shifting towards themes. So you could see something like Graveyard Masters, essentially. So, like, I mean, that was kind of the example that was touted around the internet for quite a bit. But if you think about it, it could be cool. This kind of also rolls into what we were going to talk about, expecting too much, is if they are going to do that, the expectation of price should probably go down, so they should change it from 10 to 7 for sure. They may even change it back to regular MSRP, because really, if you're looking at like a set as a whole, say Graveyard Masters, we go to that, how many good graveyard cards are there actually that haven't been reprinted to death? I mean,
and like if you think about it, some decks, some colors don't deal with the graveyard very much. Like, boy, I will have to read that. We'll probably link that, because boy,
yeah, I'm surprised you didn't know about that.
I didn't know.
I probably should have brought that up. I'm sorry.
We were busy yesterday, but
yeah, we were busy. Well,
man,
he was busy.
Nuts.
I was
that's
here
nuts.
screwing around.
I'll have to look at that.
Yeah. So anyway, that could be good. That could be bad. We don't know yet. I mean, they could hit it out of the park. Who knows? But keeping in mind, this is the last Masters as we know it that we'll see. So once again, I think we'll start out going through our hits here. This is essentially what I would consider a great card in the set, and then we're going to kind of go transition from that into what we would consider misses. Like, why is this card here? Why is it at this rarity? And keep in mind, we're approaching this purely from either a value perspective or an excitement perspective. We're not looking at the draft format as a whole. We're not, I mean, I'm not geared to look at that kind of thing, and they could be 100% right on the draft format. It could be amazing. But as a consumer of this product, I don't care about that. And I mean, I do in a way, but I would rather have good cards that I want to find than have a ridiculous
draft.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll start off here with, of course, Jace the Mind Sculptor. We've talked about this card before. It's amazing. It's ridiculous. Everybody wants it. I would open up 1 million if I could.
I think we're in the misses right now.
I was like, are you kidding me? Aaron?
No, I am.
Yeah. So anyway, we can actually just transition from that one, in my opinion. So this was a big one. This is what I think went up like day 2, something like that, of spoilers, or maybe even day 1 of spoilers.
After like the first 5 or 6. Yeah. I think you're right.
And this definitely brought the hype up to 1,000, which was good. This is what they needed. And it's kind of weird. Like, okay, so Lauren, for example, he actually has like 2 of this card or 1 of this card, and it just kicked the value of that card right to the trash can, which is kind of funny. But really the scarcity was what was driving this one, and
Yeah.
I think it'll be a $60 card by the end of this.
Yeah.
Something like
Does
that.
he have a judge foil or
I believe he
foil
does.
three? Okay.
I mean, you know Lauren. He's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
it's a valuable card, it's a mythic, and new art, and
I mean, we kind of saw it with the white version that came out in Conspiracy 2. Like, at first it was, you know, valued at like $30-$40, and now I think it's down to like 15, and it's like there's a reason for that, because the effect is great, but it's not, you know, it's not Jace the Mind Sculptor, you know.
Yeah.
So like, it's cool, but whatever.
Yeah. Cool choice here, I think. Master of the Wild Hunt. It's only got one print, I think, in M10. You're talking to the Wolf player here, so like, this card's awesome.
Should still be legendary, but what can you do?
Yeah. Just a cool print. I don't know if it needed it, but it's cool. It's in there.
I mean, it's weird at Mythic. I would have rather seen it at Rare, of course, but I think it's fine. Like, you also got to look at like these sets from that perspective. It's really, you're not going to hit that many Mythics. It sucks that pretty much, I don't know, 80% of them are duds, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, even pulling this card, I wouldn't be excited value-wise.
Right.
Because it's probably going to drop tremendously after this. Who knows? I mean, it might keep its value. I don't know.
The excitement of this card being in this set is, I think, if you opened a pack, you'd be like, oh, now I have one. Like,
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
V-Click.
This is a card that needed a reprint.
Yeah.
I still have yet to pull one of these or own one of them. I don't know what I would do with it if I got it. I mean, really, it's a cool card, but I mean, the effects. It's kind of like me and Kylie were actually talking about this the other day. The power level of the commanders of Commanders days past are just like dropping tremendously.
Yeah, big
like
time.
the power creep has definitely kind of started to catch up. And when you've got things like Marin rolling around, and then you look at like Vendilion Click, there's obviously an archetype and a deck built around this card, which is great. But I don't know. I just kind of look at those new commanders as like, I want to play that instead.
I think of this card, I tried a mono blue 1v1 for a while. I just assembled it, I played it maybe a few times. It wasn't for me, but Vendilion Click was at the helm. And I think of like, you know, I remember like Will's Widwin deck. Where it was just like, this card was in there and it could have been like, I mean, some of these cards were nuts, and this card was pretty good in 1v1. And now, like you said, you could play something else with a different effect or a different strategy and just be like at least twice as effective.
Yeah.
And it is kind of a shame. It's a good reprint. It's probably, I'd say it's a mythic.
Yeah, it's definitely mythic, especially in like the draft format.
That's true.
Yeah, it's just a cool card.
Yeah. Obliterator, of course, which was spoiled, I think, on the same, like the first 4 or 5
Jace
cards in Azusa. Good print. I think it was like a $30 card. Yeah, it's
I mean,
good.
It's great. Like it dropped the price on it, which is really amazing because people, in a lot of ways, like there's a really cool mono black modern deck rolling around. I would have built it. I still may even build it now that this card is reasonably priced. The only thing is Aether Vial's not, so there's the difference there. But I mean, yeah, just Aether Vialing and a Phyrexian Obliterator. Gosh, I can't talk. The hard part right now is that people are finding is that, of course, it dies to a ton of removal that's rolling around. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
Cool card though.
Yeah. Azusa, of course,
One of the other ones, yeah.
Good at rare again. It's probably a $20 card. I think if you play green or anything, or you want extra land, there's kind of no card. There's some cards like it, but she's really good.
I love the artwork on this one too.
Yeah.
Like the Judge promo art really knocks it out of the park. The trees, the everything, the aesthetic on this card is amazing.
Yeah. Oh, too cool.
It every time I look at this card, it makes me think of what Kamigawa Return would be, and it saddens me that it will never happen.
It'll happen. You gotta keep your hope up.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
It's probably not gonna happen.
We'll keep getting supplementary stuff, like in the commander decks, like, oh, this is Shishiro or whatever from Kamigawa in your commander deck, and it's like, okay, well, cool, that works.
Next, Blood Moon. That one's pretty clear, I think. Just a good reprint.
And this is, I guess, something that I'll bring up specifically on like this card and cards that have a similar, like, in the text box with just the set symbol and like very few words. That looks ridiculously amazing. It's very clean.
Yeah.
And like there are a few cards in this set that you'll see that are particular, like Brainstorm is a great example. Counterspell is another really good example. Like it just looks so amazing. I don't know if I'd like it for every card. I do like flavor text here and there, but that was hit our home run essentially when they decided to put the set symbol behind it to kind of show off, oh, this came from here. So that was a cool idea.
I know, like, if you ever get a chance to see, I think it's 10th edition foils. Some cards have different text like this, like time stop. I think it just says end the turn or something, and there's nothing else on that card in the foil version, and it's like 3 or 4 times the price. Like, it looks really sharp.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, like I saw that, I'm like, why is there a moon? And then I'm like, oh, the dark, of course. Like, you know, that's neat. I bet that'd get people saying, oh wow, this card's from back then. Like,
yeah.
And that says something. Obviously, I think it says this card was way overpowered back then.
Yeah,
like,
really.
To consider this a good card now, but like,
yeah, it's
man,
still ridiculous. I mean, gosh.
Yeah.
We actually played a game with it last night, and it totally destroyed us. Like, there were 2 Child of Alara decks, and then I was playing Gissa and Geralf, and then Colin was playing his Italia deck, and he put down a Blood Moon and totally shut everybody out of the game. It was so funny. Oh, man.
And you think of how many reprints this has had? The Dark Chronicles, I think 7th, 8th, 9th, Modern Masters 1, and Modern Masters...
Was it Eternal Masters, or was it...
I think it was Modern Masters 3. I could be wrong. And now this. So that's like 7 prints, and this... I bet this card will still be 18, 20 bucks when we're done.
Probably.
It's good. Maybe not... It's definitely strong in Commander. I think it is... It's a Modern and Legacy card.
Yeah,
you know? Like, it's a good include, but maybe not totally for Commanders.
Living Death, a great example of just a good all-around card. I think the value is kind of tanked on this, especially with this printing. It's definitely tanked. It was from the Vaults Annihilation. It was printed 2 other places, I think, something like that. Great card. It's a ridiculously good board wipe in Commander. Like, it'll get rid of problems that you could have never dealt with otherwise. Like, if somebody's got an Avacyn out, like, this is one of the best answers, because not only are you destroying everybody's boards, you're getting back your board. Obviously, they're going to get their stuff back too, but depending on what's happening there...
It's a probably good trade-off for you.
And usually if you're running it, you're geared towards it. So
yeah, big time.
Great card.
Maybe another one that's a non-commander pick, Eidolon of the Great Rebel. I think this card was like 15, 20 bucks.
I wish it wasn't banned in 1v1.
Yeah, play the hell that'd be nuts. Yeah. Just turn Commander into like Legacy Burn. You know, like
it already is basically.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it kind of is, depending on how many life you play.
Yes, true.
It's a good pick. You know, as far as price, it's a rare, which is good.
Well, and it makes it's kind of funny because throughout the Masters sets, they've kind of released like one piece here, one piece there, one so on and so forth of like burn decks and
like a lava spike and a chain lightning and this guy.
Death and taxes as well. Like we've got Thalias, we've got Rashad Imports, we've got which we'll get to. It's cool that if you kind of stuck with it throughout the entire thing and held on to some of your cards, you could probably build a modern or legacy deck and be fine.
That's a good point.
Which is really cool in my opinion.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it.
We need a Lingering Soul somewhere though. I think there was one. I think
there was. I think I don't remember which set.
It's hard to go like through in my mind and think about all the cards.
Yeah. We'll see.
Rest in peace. This is another great like modern staple. Like, is it played in Legacy? I'm sure it is.
I'm sure it is. Like even sideboard, right?
Yeah. I know it's played in modern all over the place.
Yeah, it's just a good like a toolboxy card. You got a problem, you pull a Rest in Peace out. Like, and even for Commander, like I think we just sold out of our last like few of them. Normally this card's in the case and it isn't now just because it's useful. Like a Commander player might need 1 or 2, and same for a Legacy or Modern sideboard player or something, but like it's just good. There's no kind of substitute for it. I mean, there's a number of cards that do this, but like
a lot of people have brought up the new artifact from Rivals of Ixalan, the Pirate's Grave or whatever, the Gravestone. Like that card is actually pretty ridiculous because it kind of has a similar effect to this, but you can play it in a graveyard deck and not be hit by it yourself. So a lot of people have started to bring that up as like maybe an alternative, which isn't bad because you can play it in a deck, whereas this one's exclusive to white. But I will say Rest in Peace is king because you essentially lay that down, and then if that person is a graveyard strategy, they're pretty much out of the game.
Unless they've got to deal with that immediately, and you can keep going. Like you play regular Magic, away from their strategy of having an extra like hand, essentially.
Yeah, basically.
It's a good print.
Yep.
Thalia are 1 or 2 hits.
This card needed to be reprinted, and I'm happy it did. I really like it for 1v1 Commander, of course. I think that this is a great entry point for somebody that's trying to build a competitive 1v1 deck. And before the price spike happened, it was an amazing entry. And then all of a sudden it was $20, and it's just like, well, I can't afford that. And it's just like, well, obviously there are alternative choices, like other Thalia would be fine too. And as we talked about, like Death and Taxes, like this card is in there, and it's actually in the human stack too, as like a 2 of stuff like that. So needed a reprint, great reprint, good value. It'll probably be, I would venture to say, about a $12 card by the time this
like
ends.
8 to 12, somewhere around there. Which is
good.
Yeah, I'd say so. Especially for such a recent card.
Oh yeah.
Obviously very strong, but you know, maybe pricey from just being from Dark Ascension.
Yeah.
You know? Simian Spirit Guide.
Another one that needed to be reprinted really bad.
I think, Planar Chaos, I don't think it's had a print since then. It's an uncommon. I think it was common beforehand. I'm not certain.
Yeah.
And it was like a $6 card. There was a huge spike or like spec or something, you know, for a kind of like perpetuating card to get you mana and stuff.
Well, it's used in Modern all over the place.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
There's so many people that, like, I can think this card, like Seth. If Seth's trying to build a deck that plays a 7-cost spell on turn 3, it's going to have Simian Spirit Guide, it's going to have Manamorphose, it's going to have, like, all of this and that to kind of, like, get you going ahead of time.
Yeah.
And for a $6 card that you probably want 4 ofs, like...
And a common, too.
Yeah.
Like, that was probably backbreaking. It's just like, it's a common card. Why
I doubt
it's like $2.
I mean, there's Elvish Spirit Guide, which is somewhat similar, but I don't think they anticipated, like, the like, importance of a card like this in those formats. And that's why you end up with $6. And that's why you end up with a reprint now.
Yeah.
So, it's a good call.
Animar.
Yeah, a good commander choice. It's cool also to see that icon behind there.
It's interesting because I think I was banking on this being in the anthology set.
Yeah.
And I'm
that's a good
100% sure it's not going to be in the anthology set. Or no, I guess we had talked about it because they showed art for Mimeoplasm. So never mind. I'm like in the past still. I guess that's just me being hopeful.
You're right.
I think it's be great for people that are trying to find foils of this card. Like,
yeah.
There's a lot of people that are trying to find the foil of this card is maybe like $100. Like there's no, it's going to be one of those Leovold situations because they're going to be super scarce. This is that mythic. This is a mythic.
Yeah.
Like this is one of the best commanders in the entire format, in my opinion. Even with the power shift, like it's still, like I played my Animar deck last night, and if somebody hadn't board wiped, that would have been the end of all of them. You know, it's just. It's
so oppressive and good.
It's 100% awesome. They needed to put something like this in here, and they did, which was great.
That's interesting. You mentioned a foil. I don't know if is there a judge foil of this one?
No.
Okay.
It's one of the because there's Kalia. Actually, I think Kalia is the only one that has a foil.
They did Gav. Okay, Carador, I think.
Yeah, you're right. So Carador and Kalia both have foils now, and then of course the whatever commanders were in the Kalia deck because they also got the foil treatment as well
in the anthology.
Yeah.
So
I can't remember. I know there's the Angel,
Tariel, and the Oros, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Another one, and I don't think this guy's got a foil, is Prosh Sky Raider. Like pretty good. I've heard this card is like really good in multiplayer. I thought it was really pricey.
What do you mean?
Because for a long time, like I think of...
Well, for a while, it was really oppressive. Like, I think that was part of what we were talking about with the power creep. For a really long time, it was like, you'd see Prosh decks popping out all over the place. Because it's an amazing sack engine.
Yes.
Like, it just turns people, like, creatures over. You just make those tokens, and then if you have any kind of edict effects on the board, you're pretty much in control of the game. Because all of a sudden, you're just wiping everybody's board while maintaining your board, plus getting a giant monster to probably kill somebody with.
Yeah, and that's what I've seen it as, is like this guy will come swinging through and hit somebody for like 15 damage and just kill him. It's
still probably one of the best Jund commanders out there, and there's a reason that people obviously gravitate towards it because it's easy in my opinion. Like it's an easily solved deck to build. It's another one of those intros in my opinion. Like you get this card, you build around it, super easy. You just look it up on EDHREC and then you've got it. Like that's all you need to do. There's not really a whole lot of thinking behind it, which I think is great for people that just want to do it casually. You know what I mean?
The thing that's so surprising to me.
Why are we all getting phone calls?
My first like contact with this card, we all played the Commander 13 decks. I played Jund, and I noticed that like he was pretty good, better than Shattergang and better than like Sekutar, I think. Like, but then I didn't play him. And then I thought he was like $150, and then I turn around and he's like out of stock and a little bit more like you said, he's just really good overall.
I wish I would have looked up the price before we got into this video. I don't really think he's that expensive. I think he was like a $7 or $8 card, but I could be 100% wrong.
But like if you consider, because Sidri's in here, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sure that card's like 50 cents to $1. Like, right? Like, I mean, this is a good print, but man, like it's odd. It's very, and they're from the same set. They're from Commander 13, aren't they? Yeah, that's where Sidri came from.
Yeah, I believe so.
It's just strange to me.
Yeah.
Elad Mary's call.
Is it Elad Mary's or El Damry's?
Eladri.
I've heard it said like a million different ways.
Elad Mary's. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, cool card. Great for Commander.
Yes.
Great for. I don't think it's really necessarily played anywhere else, but it could be, I guess. You know,
yeah, I don't
if
know.
somebody really wanted to tech it and try it. There is the 3-cost card that basically sets up your next 3 creatures that I think would be better in a lot of ways than like Modern or anything like that. Whereas this is just like I'm gonna go find a creature, put it in my hand.
I want, yeah.
Still, cool card.
It's good. I like the art. That's a cool art.
I think they brightened this one.
It does look a lot brighter because I didn't recognize it right off the bat. I'm like, what?
The other ones look so much darker in my. I don't know if that might just be like this image. You know, could be that. But it definitely, seems a lot brighter, which isn't a bad thing.
No.
No. So yeah, cool card.
Yes, indeed. Chalice, of course, at Mythic.
Needed a reprint.
Yep.
Probably should have been rare, in my opinion. Like it's not that. I mean, it is ridiculous in draft, but once again, like I am looking.
You
at
might
this,
get one of them in a box. If you're drafting with 8 people, you might run up against one on the table. Like.
And the fact that this is such a huge sideboard card and/or main board card, really, sometimes, in so many formats, like, I think it should have been a rare.
It probably, and I mean, it's been a rare in the past. Like, I think it makes sense if you've got a card that isn't in a set, or let's say was before Mythics, and it is a Mythic. This one's been around as rare. I think, like, Mirrodin, sure, but in Modern Masters 1, and I thought it had a print since then. But it's like, man, I don't know. And people are kind of complaining, and I agree. Like, this is such a huge card, and now you've got to open maybe 2 boxes to find one of them. Like, this isn't going to help bring this card price down. So, time will tell. It's a good card. It's definitely a hit, but maybe a partial miss on the rarity. So, our next one here, Ensnaring Bridge. I've had a buddy who's looking for one of these, and like, you know, it's already brought the price down on this. It's a good sideboard card. In Commander, it's nuts. I've seen that one like played against me. It definitely makes you think on how to play. And of course, in other formats, it's huge. Another Mythic. I don't know.
I mean, I come at this card from like it's one of those scarcity ones.
Yeah.
Having another printing of this card is amazing. I like it in Commander. It's a little bit sketchy because sometimes you really want a large hand, so that kind of like contradicts it. But if you're playing the right kind of deck where you're playing like taxes or anything like that, and you're just like, I guess, slowly, you know, just destroying the table with like, I mean, there are a ton of commanders that do that. This card's great because it'll keep a lot of attackers off you. Is it better than Propaganda in a lot of ways? Not really, because Propaganda, Ghostly Prison, like they kind of do a similar thing, and a lot of times that's enough because people don't have the mana to attack you. Usually they forget about it and they play out their hand and they're like, I'm going to attack you, and you're like, okay, you got to pay 2 for each creature, and they're just like, well, I can only swing 1 creature at you at this point, so it's not really worth it. It's just like, should have thought about that.
Yeah, and that totally is true. Like, you know, some pretty inexpensive cards versus like a $45 card. Like, I wonder what a foil of this one's going to be. And Chalice, like...
Oh, gosh. So, just as a quick update, I was checking my phone to see if we got any more spoilers. And they put Ravenous Chupacabra in this set.
Gotta meet that standard demand.
Which is kind of funny. Like, I love that card. Don't get me wrong. I just think it's an interesting Masters 25 include.
Boy.
So, that is our Ixalan. And then we got Dirge of the Dread as well, so...
That's it for
today?
That's
it so far. Like, it's not even 9 o'clock yet, so that's usually when Mythic Spoiler kind of updates. But
and we're at 100 and I guess 19 out of 250 cards.
Yeah. So
about halfway, and I think a lot of the juice is like it's in the cup already.
Yeah. I think we've got all of our Mythics. I think we've got most of our rares. The rest of it's, I mean,
unless they downgrade all of our awesome good rares that we wanted into uncommons.
yeah, really, like all of a sudden it's just like, here's blah, here's Solemn Simulacrum in uncommon. I go
you
for
heard
that
it here
still.
last week, episode 20. Solemn Simulacrum uncommon.
We
Masters
predicted the
25.
future. Masters 25.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Next.
So Coalition Relic. I know that obviously this is a favorite of yours. It's probably a favorite of mine as well.
Yeah.
It's a ridiculously powerful card,
Yeah.
especially like for a mana rock that costs 3 that taps for any color and has a secondary effect. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yes.
I remember before the Chromatic Lantern was printed, like this was like a go-to for me, just because I could make basically whatever I wanted. I could float a mana. I could make two black if I needed to, which was something that was always like a problem because you have like those heavy, like extensive mana cost cards that sometimes you needed doubles of something and you didn't always have that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this card definitely helped out with that a lot.
Yes.
Plus, there are a bunch of untapped strategies that really shine with this, like artifact strategies. You float or you put 3 charge counters on this, and then you get to your turn, and all of a sudden you have a bajillion mana, and it's just like, oh, this I just needed this 1 card to do it, or at least 2 cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's cool, and I think it's creeping up.
Yep.
You know, it was like a $15 card. And
I think at one point it was like a $20 card for a little while.
And the new art is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's beautiful.
Especially for how iconic that card like was.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the invasion set symbol. Like,
yeah.
I never really realized it until now, but like, you know, it just, oh man, it looks sharp.
Yeah.
It looks so cool.
Crisp.
Yeah. Stronic Resonator, maybe not super pricey, but
it definitely. I mean, it's not a bad open.
No, I wouldn't say so.
You know, you open up and you're just like, okay, it's kind of like what you're talking about with Master of the Wild Hunt. You're not overjoyed, you know, because you got like the most valuable card, but it's something you can at least use.
Yeah. So many cards have the, you know, a triggered ability that you want to copy. Like, it's just why, like, I kind of hoarded Rings of Brighthearth for a while. I had a few of these cards. Anytime I was short on a trade, I'd be like, yeah, trade me a Stronic Resonator if you have one. Like, it's a decent card, and getting a little bit extra value for 2 and a tap, like, so good. Great art too. Noah Bradley.
Yep.
Mikakoro. I don't own one of these. Like,
I personally don't like this card.
You don't?
No.
Well, I'll just skip it.
Well, no, we can talk about it. I know it's a Kylie favorite, and I know
that's why I picked it, because
like it's
not a good thing to do.
Yeah, I hate giving my opponents an advantage, but
you're not a party Jace guy.
No, I'm not. I will sit there and minus him into oblivion.
It's just, you know what you're here for, buddy.
I just don't. Yeah, get out there, bud.
Yeah, draw me some cards.
Unless I have like, you know, like Notion Thief. Well, that doesn't really work because it's first card, but you know what I mean. Yeah.
I chose this also, Steve, because you didn't alter on our page for this.
That's true. I did do that, and it looked amazing.
Yeah,
so.
And especially, I remember you're talking about all the sun rays and stuff. It's just like,
it was a pain in the butt.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It turned out nice.
It's cool, and it's from Kamigawa. Who can complain?
And, I mean, it does it if you're building around this. Well, I shouldn't say building around this card. If you're building around these type of effects, especially like group hug or like certain strategies, like it's totally fine. I don't find myself wanting to include this in anything that I've done. So
yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, Rashad and Port. Now we were kind of debating because I can't remember if this is banned in Commander or not. I don't think it is. I know it's banned in 1v1 for sure.
Yeah.
Because that's where I wanted to use it, and then I found out that it was banned. Obviously, more of a legacy card. You really want it for that Death and Taxes once again. Really cool artwork. I like this. Like the sky is like super crisp, beautiful. I'm wondering what the hell that giant structure in the back is.
Yeah.
Like for a second I looked at this and I thought they were on like the conspiracy world, but then I realized that's not possible.
Yeah.
Because this is from, what is that?
Mercadian Masks.
Yeah. So like I'm just curious. I'm sure there's a lore thing around it, and it's obviously there for a reason, and somebody's going to comment in the section and just be like, you idiots, it's from blah, blah, blah. That's
Don't
the blah,
you
blah, blah.
know?
That's Yawgmoth's puppy's house. You blah, blah. I don't know. She's like, what? Yawgmoth was on this plane too?
Probably. It's like,
who knows?
Yeah.
This could be Yawgmoth's plane for all I know.
Yeah.
So anyway, cool card.
Yeah.
Great reprint. Definitely a hit.
Yes.
And then I would say collectively, these are a hit. Like, it's not the cycle we thought we were going to get, but it's the cycle we deserve.
Yeah. They're good. I think they're cool. Some people may not be familiar. It's another one that say, oh, I don't have a Cascade Bluff. I don't have a Fetid Heath. Like,
we hit it on the head as far as like they were only going to print like half a cycle, because they, I mean,
10 rares and lands. Like
that was a very unique circumstance with like. Actually, I don't think it's ever happened. Now that I think about it, I was gonna say the fetch lands, but then I was like, that didn't happen. In my head, it did.
All 10 of something in one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it happened in Dragon's Maze, but like the chance of getting them were like absolutely ridiculous because I think I pulled one shock land out of my entire Dragon's Maze box.
The one time I'm like, Steve, it's happened, and I thought of Return of Ravnica, but of course it was RTR and Gate Crash. Like,
yeah.
You know, and these are close, and then the same thing. Like, oh yeah, we had fetches at the same time, and it's like cons and. You know, Masters.
It's just because they were so close to each other.
Together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Truly, it hasn't happened. Like,
yeah.
And you know, we said it's either going to be a half cycle of shocks or filters, and like a good utility land. And we thought Cavern of Souls, or I said Reflecting Pool or something, and then of course they give us Mikokoro. So it's like we weren't too far off there, I guess. But filters are cool, and then be ready for the other half sometime.
Yeah, I mean. They definitely went with the right side of it,
yes.
in my opinion, because we've got Graven Karens like a million times so far, and that would have just been really crappy to get another Graven Karens.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a good land, but how many Graven Karens does everybody need? Obviously, the rest of the cycle is a little bit lacking, but these lands, especially for Commander, you kind of have to know how to play with them.
I agree.
And you have to play around them a lot of times, and I remember... one of the first things I did for my Animar deck was I went out and bought like 5 of these, and I shoved them all in the deck, and I was like, this is gonna be awesome, this is gonna be so cool. Like, I think I played the deck 4 times with them in there, and each time I was just like, this is terrible. I can't do anything. I have 3 of these stupid filter lands, and I can't pay for any of them.
Right.
Or even when I did get a land to pay for one of them, I had to tap all of them into each other to pay for the thing that I needed to play.
If you ever watch, I forget what game it was, but I had a bunch of those. To me, this says Signet the land. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I did the same thing with my Progenitus deck. I played during this time, and I had one of each of these, and I threw each of them in there because it's a 5-color deck, and it makes perfect sense. And then I'm just like, this and that. For these 2, now I've got this, and I think I've got 8, but I don't know what colors, and I have these 2 over here, and I don't know what I need left. Like, it can be a mess. I think these are like a 1 or 2 of... If you're playing a tricolor deck, like, that's it. You need, like, the main 2, like, they're cool. They are very cool, but they're very, like, burny, I think.
Yeah,
like,
so you... get some practice with these.
Yes.
Like dual color decks is where I would put them.
Yeah.
Tricolor decks is fine.
Yeah.
Anything over that, it's just like this is a disaster.
It's more of a pain than a help.
I don't want him anymore.
But it's a good print. And like you said, the enemy colored side, I mean, Steam Vents, you know, what else? I think the white black one is kind of pricey.
Steam Vents.
Or
Cascade Bluff.
Cascade Bluffs, yeah. And then I think the blue...
So Fetid Heath is
green?
the black-white one, I think, right?
Yeah.
And that's
Fetid
played
Heath.
in Modern a little bit. And then the blue-green one, I don't know if that's played at all, to be honest. I know Cascade Bluffs is a little bit expensive because I think it is also played in Modern somewhere.
I don't think Rugged Prairie's too pricey.
I think Twilight Mire might be the most expensive one because I know it's played in Modern.
Yeah. And then the only other one I could think of is I think the Firelit Thicket, the red-green, is pretty pricey, again, because of Modern.
Yeah.
But that's an allied colored one.
Yeah, we don't have that here, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. I'm glad they printed them. Ash Barons, another one. This has only been in Commander 16, and it recently shot up in price. Like, it was like a $2 card, and now it's like a $6 or $7
explosion of Pauper really turned this one around.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing to include. It's great in Commander. Like, that's where it was intentionally designed for, and it works awesome. Like, dual color, you know, anything above 2 colors or below. Well, not even below, but I mean, I use it in my monocolor decks just to thin. So
yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
cool reprint.
I even have it in my colorless deck.
Yeah.
So
definitely bring the price down. Look for foils. Only foil printing.
Yeah. Back to Jace.
That was our hits. So
now
let's go into the
misses.
misses. Chroma.
How many of these do we need? Like, it's a $4 or $5 card. I know that really, I can't remember all the printings of it, but I'm pretty sure it's from the vaults and then the set and then somewhere else probably. But
Demonic versus Angelic, and then dual decks anthologies.
Like, this is a mythic you open up and you're just like, oh.
Yeah.
And the fact that the next card is in here too is just like a double kick in the junk, because it's just like, we didn't need this.
But the draft format, Steve.
There's not anything to go with these for the draft format. That's the other part.
They're bombs, Steve.
They are bombs, but good God.
Yeah.
They could have chosen, I mean, ugh, God.
Baneslayer or Archangel
Yeah.
or...
I'm trying to think of other cards from this set in particular, but I'm sure there's something at least that would have been better than these guys. Like, don't get me wrong, both of the Achroma cards are great. They are super effective beaters that, you know, you just get out and you just kick the crap out of somebody. But the thing is that, once again, we talked about this, power creep in Commander has already surpassed these in a lot of ways. You can get something that is way more powerful than this at a lower cost and usually way more efficient. Like, we're not really looking at morphing into things anymore. Well, some people are, but it's just not that great.
Here's what this boils down to, and I've said this to you guys, to Steve, a million times. This card, both of these cards, are iconic.
Yeah.
They are not mythics, no. I don't think, and they should have been in that set. Yeah. Like, this...
It's almost like they were like halfway through production and they took a bunch of cards out of each set and put them in the other
set. Exactly. Like, I mean, people come in that haven't played Magic in 10 years and say, I played during the Legion and Planar Chaos days. Do you remember Achroma? Oh my God, that card killed me all the time. Or I had an Achroma deck, and it's like, those people would have loved that card in the other set.
Yeah. Not
here as a mythic. They should be in this set as a rare, if you ask me. But
I think they dropped the ball on like it's so weird because you look at our hits section and it's just like, these are great, this is really awesome. Good. And then you get to our misses and it's just like,
we're 2 cards in and it's a
yeah, we're already breaking down.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem. Half the set is a miss.
Yeah.
And it's just like you can't make that up. You open up this again in a pack, it's your mythic. Like, you open up a box and say this is your foil mythic, and it's just like, okay, this is a
$4 card.
Yeah. Like,
or the white one, and it's like, this has 3 foil printings already. Like, yeah. Armageddon.
Like, yeah, cool card, whatever. Should have been rare. Well, no, not for draft purposes. Should have been mythic, but shouldn't have been in the set.
Could you imagine drafting this and like one person just drafts this and they're just like, well, I'm gonna punk the whole board. Like,
oh yeah,
that would suck. I know we're probably gonna play in a multiplayer environment.
Yeah,
just imagine it'd be like,
no, that would be me.
I could see Greg doing it too.
Yeah, definitely. Kylie wouldn't, you wouldn't, but the 2 of us probably would.
Yeah.
Doomsday, whatever, Legacy, blah. You know, some people play it in Commander to be super degenerate, but honestly, just a terrible card. I do not like this in the set. Period. Like, even for draft purposes, that triple black is going to kill somebody. Like, I mean, it's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and what else, like, black could you draft? Like,
well, yeah, what's going to win you the game with this card in this set?
If you get both mythics.
Not even. Like, you have 5 turns to win the game. Say somebody has removal. They destroy your Obliterator. You mill yourself out.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no reason for this.
Yeah.
Like, period.
Yeah, it's an odd choice. Art's cool.
I guess.
It was a invocation.
Yeah.
So maybe.
Yeah. We didn't even bother to get the English version of this.
I don't think there. Well, yeah, I guess there is an English version.
Yeah, there has to be.
This is the spoiler of Tree of Redemption. If you're not familiar, you can change your life total with its toughness.
Of all the freaking cards to choose from Innistrad, of all the freaking cards, like.
Well, just wait, because there's a reason this card's in this set.
I don't.
And the viewer may not know, so we can't spoil it.
I
013 Defender with change your life total with card toughness.
I just don't care.
Yeah.
Like, it's so like that. If that is specifically what they set this up for, they failed because that is a terrible. Like, it's almost like they were trying to justify that card through this card, and it's just like, why?
Yeah, that's what they did.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like,
this should be a rare, and the other one should be in there as well.
Huntmaster of the Fells could have been in this place, and people would have like. It's not that expensive of a card, but at least you open it and you're just like, oh, I wanted one of these, you know. Whereas like, it's just like, I can pick this up for $1 right now.
Yeah. This I think is here for the draft. Imagine an 013 Defender. That's perpetual blocker, man. Bad choice.
Grizzlebrand.
Yeah.
Like,
flying.
There's so many. Yeah.
He might have reach. Who knows?
I don't even care.
By Nathassa.
Yay!
Good card. Bad 50-cent pull.
Okay, so once again, any of the gods could have been slotted here, like Thassa. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't need her Bident, we needed the Thassa card.
Yeah.
Like, still, that's not that valuable. That's not even, like, expensive. I think it's, like, $12
I
something
guess,
like that.
10 or less.
You open that up, and you're just like, oh, I was looking for one of these for X Commander deck, X Cube, whatever. Not Bident of Thassa that's been printed 3 times at this point, and it's a good card, don't get me wrong, but I'm not gonna look to buy 10. I mean, I'm not gonna pay $10 for this card. Is what I'm getting at.
Yep.
Good God, Ball Lightning, hooray! Once again, we're running into the problem of triple red. Like, even for draft, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So it's oh God, Eric, why?
Should we end it here?
No,
that's all. We talked about it.
We're just gonna keep.
Aquatis is champion.
This card's kind of cool, actually. As a rare, I think it should be an uncommon. I wish it was legendary, actually.
Is this used in like Death Shadow?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's way too
no,
expensive.
definitely not. That's the
I was
6
gonna
cost.
say, like, why would you do that? Like,
no, like it was. I did a little bit of research on some of these, and it was used a long time ago as like a finisher in like some deck from eons ago. Which I mean, it's a cool card. I would play it if it cost 5, probably. You know, I'd probably even play it at 6 just to finish somebody off.
Yeah, and think if you play this on turn 6, and then they just kill it, and you're like, oh, I wish I had a black mana.
Well, and then they get 6 life, and it's just like this is a disaster. But yeah, I know, head shakies. Decree of Justice. Do we need this? No. Just move on. Flash, nah, whatever.
You're getting like zapped
like,
out of existence.
Yeah, this card's kind of cool play-wise. Like, it's kind of fun. It's an uncommon card to me at this point because there's so many things that are just more powerful than this. Like, you think about like Restoration Angel. Like, I know that's not a straight across comparison, but like Restoration Angel flashes in, you have a 4/3 flyer dude that does stuff. Whereas this card gives something flash, which that can be effective in a lot of places, reduces the cost by 2 colorless. But yeah, I mean, maybe this is part of what they were trying to do with the chroma, so you only have to pay 3 white and a colorless to get it done.
Pretty roundabout, if you ask me.
Fortune Thief, whatever. Like, it's a fun trick, but once again, it's not a card that I want to open up at rare. Just keep clicking, Eric. Rat catcher,
this
whatever.
This is here for relentless rats.
Yeah, there's a theme around this. It's stupid. I don't even care. Once again, I'm sorry. This is starting to sound just so dour.
I mean, I was thinking about that too. this card has 1 print, Steve. Come on, like.
Yeah, but it's not even that great there. Like, this card's not good. Like, I know people have tried to like justify it as, oh, it's a weird Snapcaster. No, it's a really bad Snapcaster. Like, I would rather have like the Charmbreaker Devils over this, like in a million times over.
That's a good point.
Like, I would rather just get the spell back to my hand so I could cast it at slow speed instead of exile a bunch of spells and then potentially get this thing killed, exiling all those spells permanently.
Yeah.
Like, it's just such a weird card. Like,
if you get a foil, keep it. Only full print.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, this is what we were talking about with the Tree of whatever.
Tree of Redemption, Triskaidekaphobia.
Yeah.
Instant win if you have life total.
Once again, this set had way better cards than this.
Yeah.
And that's where I think they're missing the bucket here. It's just like, I understand they have to like work around a draft format like we talked about previously, but once again, do you want to draft with this? No, it'll most likely get you killed. Like, that's...
Imagine opening this up in your pack and you're like, you're doing a sealed, and then, man, I hope I get that tree, and then you're just like, crap.
This is your foil rare to, like, think about how much of a kick in the pants that is. Like,
you're gonna get multiple foil rares because each pack has a foil, but you may not get like
that,
foil mythic. That's the
that
thing.
has not really rung true in my opinion.
You don't think so?
I think the distribution on those foil rares is pretty low.
Low, okay.
Because I mean, I've opened up 1 box of all of these, and that can kind of show you where I'm at on this too. I bought a box of Iconic Masters and I was excited about it because there were cool cards in there. I'm not buying a box of this set for the most part. I mean, unless something changes my mind in the next, I guess hour, I'm not getting a box of this set because it's just so hit or miss. There is no... I was watching another YouTube creator the other day. I think it was actually this morning. They brought it up like, this almost feels like loot box to me. Because it's just like, yay! Oh, it's gambling 100%.
The 50-cent rare or the $75 card.
Yeah. I thought that was a really good observation.
That truly is.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, well, guess carry on.
Yeah.
Brian Stoutarm, yay!
I think he's had a number of reprints.
Yeah,
and
he was in a Commander's. I think he was in 2 Commander sets at this point. I think he was actually somewhere else too. Yeah. So not something we needed.
Cool for the limited giant. I mean, I played Red White Giants in Modern Masters 2. I think
he's one of the better Boros commanders. I guess. I mean, there's only like 2 or 3 that are even viable, so he's not really competing against anything. But he's not bad.
50 cents is bad. Conflux. Are you going to draft this, Steve? No.
That's where this all falls apart to me, because it's just like, well, it's in there to draft with. It's just like, no, this is in there to be a nightmare for anyone that opens it.
Just imagine if you pull this in, like, I keep thinking that this is sealed, but it might actually be worse in draft. You're just like, pack 1, oh great, I have nothing to go on, and then your other 2 packs might be good, but you're completely out of color. Like, dude,
Eric.
Dude,
I don't think we're gonna have a fun time drafting this set. We've had a great time drafting Iconic Masters. I don't think we're gonna have a good time at all.
And we just came off our last limited play stuff was the Unstable, and that was a blast.
Oh yeah,
like this is gonna be a freaking
where is the set design like that in this?
It's all over the place.
Think about it. They had 25 years of Magic to choose from,
and they choose
they choose stuff like this that just doesn't make any sense. Like, it's just like, why do I want to draft this? Give me a reason to want to draft this, and they have yet to
Jace
do
the
that.
Mind Sculptor picks and then leave the draft.
The game should be over by this time. Here's
a long time. You ever watch I Am Ninja?
No.
He did a review of the Pirates of the Caribbean 2.
Sure.
And he joked and he said they must have taken 5 scripts, put them in a shotgun, shot the shotgun, and picked up the tatters and made a script.
Well, and that's 100% this.
They took all of Magic and just blew it out a cannon, and they said, Conflux, I can read that. Let's put it in.
And you know what disappoints me? Probably, we just keep scrolling through the cards. Okay. Here we are. Mystic Snake. This is an uncommon card in my mind. I don't care if it's drafted, rare, blah, blah, blah. Opening up a Mystic Snake, once again, it's a kick in the shorts, because you're just like, great, here's my 25-cent rare. Like, this card is not valuable. Is it good? Yes, but it's so frustrating.
They just don't want uncommon Mystic Snake draft beatdown rolling around. Should be an uncommon.
I find uncommons hard enough to find most of the time anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
If you want to make that draft argument.
But I mean, imagine if you have 7 other people that are passing you a Mystic Snake. Like, you might have 7 of them.
Who cares? Then they're stupid.
And
here we go, Nimbus at the Fire Mine.
We're almost
done.
We're in the gold border.
Yeah,
card,
really.
Gold frames. So
like
another iconic card that should have been in Iconic.
They literally said at the beginning of Iconic Masters, before it was even spoiled, dragons, angels, blah blah blah. Here we are in Masters 25 with dragons, angels, and blah blah blah. Like, did they switch them? Is that what happened?
The press release just got mixed up, and Rurik Thar.
This was when I knew the downturn was coming. Like, as soon as I saw this card spoiled, I was just like, great, here we go.
This is a good card.
Yeah.
For Commander players.
Or in draft, it's great.
Yeah, like, you could build a full creature deck and just, like, stick it to somebody, but this is a 50-cent card. If you open this, you're going to be unhappy. Unless you get your pack for $4.
I really hope that doesn't happen. Like, I know just going... Like, at the store right now, you're selling Iconic Masters for $7.50 at this point, because it's not worth the MSRP. What do you think's going to happen here?
I don't know.
Like,
I think they're, like, if you think of Iconic Masters, you think of Mana Drain, and, like, I can't name another card. Like,
well, I mean, there's, like, well.
We'll get back to you.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, this set at least has Jace, at least has Blood Moon, at least got the filters, like... You know, you think back of Modern Masters 17, they had fetches. You would roll the dice on $10 to get a fetch land. Like, that's a good deal. Like, would you roll the dice to get a Jace or maybe a fetch or a filter? Like,
I feel like opening this set's going to be worse than Iconic Masters, which is weird, because I think there are higher value cards, yes, but there are a lot more duds in this set, in my opinion, and that's where I think people are kind of missing the boat of, like, arguing for this set. Is just like, look at the value, look at the ridiculous pulls you can get. But look at the downside too. You have to look at the other side of the coin, because when you open a pack, you are gambling. Like you don't know. It could be Rurik Thar, it could be Jason Mind Sculptor, it could be any of this crap, and it's just like, do I need it? No.
And it's true. Like people say, the expected value, but it's like if you look at Jace alone, depending like on where you find a box, the expected value of Jace right now is $160, as far as I know.
So that pays for most of your box there. But
if you get one, but
Mythic, once again, like how long? I have yet to see a mana drain, and I've opened up probably 2 boxes of Iconic Masters at this point, and that's pretty much everybody's story. Like, you don't buy one of these sets expecting a Mythic. You get it, and you
draft it and hope you get something good.
You jump for joy when it happens, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
that often.
Like, you think of once those cards settle and they like everybody worries about expected value, and obviously that's a very rational way to approach something like this. All of a sudden, if your expected value goes down, and I know I've said if somebody pulls a Jace, they're going to pick up 3 more, so the price of Jace will likely go up because of this. Like, let's say it's something else. If the market feels like there's enough of them, the price will go down, your expected value goes down over time. The later you're opening these packs, the lower your expected value, and to some people, if that's the only choice you make, they're not going to buy a pack, because you're gonna the 50-cent cards aren't going to go up.
No.
The $160 cards are going to go down, and that's the killer, you know.
Well, let's trudge through this. Sundering Titan, no one wanted it, no one needs it, everybody hates it.
Abandoned Commander, really mean card. Like,
yeah, there's like so many reasons not to have this card. Like, it was just a masterpiece and no one wanted it there. Like, why would you throw it in this set where this could have been Blightsteel Colossus
or in Platinum Empyrean? I know people are hoping for both of those. Like,
would I be happy with Blightsteel Colossus? Probably not. I would hate that going up against that.
That's another mean card, especially in draft. And like you said earlier, that would mean Infect somewhere in the set.
Maybe. I mean, Blightsteel Colossus can get the job done on its own, so that might have been a standalone. I thought about that as soon as we finished that episode. I was just like, well, maybe that wouldn't be a bad standalone.
It would make sense though. Like, but obviously it does finish like, you know, God, Sundering Titan, man.
But who wanted this card? Like,
wasn't this in a From the Vault as well?
I don't need. Yeah, I think it was. And it's got the weird
shortly
artwork.
Got banned after that.
Yeah, and it's just like
the art's really cool looking in this one. I think.
I feel bad for the artist because it's just like, well, here, here we are, back to a chroma, back to the trash fire that began this whole thing. So, okay, trying to rein it in now that we've looked at all these terrible cards, and you can obviously form your own opinions on this.
Yeah, definitely do.
Take a look at Mythic Spoiler. Like I said, we don't 100% have the entire set yet, so
anything could change. Like,
I honestly think we're too far down the hole to really like have a drastic shift in order to recover.
They'd have to print like Soul Rings as commons or something. Like,
yeah, like absolutely ridiculous things like Solemn Simulacrum at uncommon, like we talked about.
Like just good, feel good value, not bomby like.
Crap.
Chase rares,
like Phyrexian Arena, like that should have been here. Like, if I'm tired of getting Necropotence, you know, give me Phyrexian Arena, I'll be happier. Like, I like Necropotence, but it's very, specific in the decks that it can go in, really. There are so many cards that I can think of that would probably make a better draft format too, that could have been in this set. Like, this is a huge miss on what could have been. But anyway. Let's move on to the next topic because we don't really have. I mean, we've been at this for 53 minutes. Are we expecting too much from these sets at this point? And is it a good thing that they're going away? That's kind of what I'm looking at this as. Yeah, they're running out of cards to reprint to make us feel good about these things, and I think that might be a huge part of why this feels so meh. Is because they're really most of the cards that had value and we really wanted to see have been reprinted already. Like, they could throw Aether Vial in every set and it would still be an expensive card. They could throw Tarmogoyf in every set and it would still be an expensive card. That was not, I don't think, the initial intention. I think it was a vehicle to get you into premium cards because you didn't have the chance to get a lot of these cards before this. No. And I think it was great. Like, overall, the run of Master sets was awesome. Like, yeah, we've got, Masters 15, I think was the bad one. 15, yeah, I'd say... And that, because there's 13, 15, 17, Eternal, Iconic, and 25 now. So I would say 3 out of 3 are good. 3 good, 3 bad. If this set doesn't
continues.
Yeah, if it doesn't recover, it's going to be in the bad category, and 50% chance of being good, whatever you want to look at it that way. Obviously, Iconic Masters are kind of, it's lukewarm to me because I actually like the set. I like the draft environment. I liked everything about that side of it, and the cards really weren't that bad. I would put that set above this set right now, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's tough to say. I maybe wouldn't. I do agree about the draft. That made sense. Some of this stuff doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think one thing that people don't realize is this sure is a vehicle for reprinting, but that is not the purpose. Otherwise, they just say, why not make a pack that has 2 or 3 rares in it from a whole bunch of different stuff, and it's $10.
Yeah.
And you buy it, and one of them's foil. People do that, I would say. If you had 3 chances at a good rare or something, or you had a nuts pack like that, or make it a 20-card pack, and, there's 3 rares in it or something. I have no idea. They've done this because it's a draft set, and they are using it as a reprint mechanic, vehicle, whatever. And I think people don't realize that. It's hard for me to remember that too, because to a store and to a consumer, like you were talking about earlier, the person who takes the money out of their pocket says, I want something good out of this.
Yeah.
The store says, I want something sellable out of this. Man, it's tough. It's I saw a thread just this morning. People are saying, should these even be $10?
No.
In the past they were $7 and stores marked them up to $10.
Yep.
And then Wizards says, well, let's do the math. It costs us the same price to charge it for $7 versus $10, and they say, let's just sell it for $10, and then they get an extra whatever out of the $3 price hike, and it's up to stores to sell it for that if they can, or they try to dump it at 25% off or 40% off or mass drop it or something
Well, and as we talked about previously, when a store, especially a newer store, gets a hold of a product like this and it sits on their shelves, that is damning.
Yeah,
that
can be.
Could be the end. I mean,
if
a lot of people were going into the set, and I think a lot of speculation was swirled around it because of that whole Jace the Mind Sculptor. In a lot of ways, I think that that looks worse and worse to me as this set goes. As this season, spoiler season, goes on, that looks trickier and dirtier the longer it goes.
You're
because
talking fill people in. You think
the
that's
unbanning of Jace the Mind Sculptor,
right.
That is starting to feel bad. Before I was all about it. I was yeah, that's a great marketing technique. Now I'm just yeah, that's a great marketing technique, but is it the knife in the back marketing technique at this point? Because people got hyped. Stores started probably pre-order, they have to buy the product before the store even knows what's in the set. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. So if it is a complete dumpster fire, they're kind of stuck. They have the product already. They have to sell it. What else are you going to do?
Or at least pre-order it. A good example as well, people were saying, for the train wreck that came up in the holiday season of, you're spoiling Rivals of Ixalan stuff before Iconic Masters is even out. You were spoiling that before Rival or Ixalan's already out, and then Unstable came in there and de-hyped everything and hyped up this odd, not even playable set outside of casual. They said, stop tripping over everybody else's or your own feet and spoil one set. Once it's sold, start spoiling the next set. And I think they took that to heart. And again, like I said, it was very.
Let's see if there's anything new.
Sure.
Talking.
It was very compact towards the holiday season as far as full sets that needed spoiling and releasing. But now they've done this, and people were saying, hey, can we please get this whole set? We got to give our allocations to distributors. And I remember on the Facebook page, somebody was one set, they can't spoil it slowly enough, and the next spoil it, they can't spoil it fast enough. I do agree. I think back to what was it, Eternal Masters, where there was this huge rumor that somebody had the full list on eBay, and there was an auction up for 25 grand that your company could buy the Eternal Masters spoiler list a week early.
I remember that.
And Wizards dumped the whole thing. And that's how it should be, if you ask me.
Yeah.
You say, this is what's going to be in there. There isn't a hype season, which, for good or bad, but it's that man. It feels bad, Wizards.
It feels bad. I don't know if we're just putting too much stock in a card game or whatever, but like this isn't the good feels of I don't know why I keep going back to this, but like I was somewhat excited to open Iconic Masters. I am not excited to open any of these packs. Like even Masters 2015, like before I got my hands on that set, I was still excited to open it. After I opened it, I was kind of like, well, this is kind of disappointing. But like, okay, think back to Iconic Masters. Like that was ridiculous. Or not Iconic, Eternal Masters. That's what I'm trying to say. Like that set was stupid good, and it was so much fun to play, all that good stuff. Like Modern Masters 1, I didn't get to draft that one because I wasn't into draft at that point. I just opened the box and got the value, and that was great too. I loved that. And then Modern Masters 2
wasn't so great.
Yeah, that was 15, and 3 was great. Like so it's hard to say. I just looked at the spoiler list again. We got a few more updates. We got Boros Charm, which is cool. We got Myriad Landscape, which is cool, but
that's a good one.
Once again, we're not seeing. I mean, the Cultivate's in the set, but whatever. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's probably a very good thing. This is probably going to be the last one because I really think they're running out of cards to print, and I think that's most of the problem. I think that the hype is gone. Masters has just become something that they're just doing now, and they just need. It's a good thing they're stopping.
And I think you're right. Like. And I think the number one realization I've had just talking about it today is that, like, halfway through or even after the first one, the purpose of this got flipped on its head by the consumer and the producer. Like, all we think about is it good? Is it valuable? Can I get a good card? Like, not, is this a product the company may want to make for the right reason? Like, if this were like in a couple months we'll be reviewing this Battle Bond or whatever, like we will not think for a second about is this valuable, like it'll be is this gonna be fun, because that's how they've marketed this product. Like it's a draft thing with two-headed giant implication and all of this stuff, and oh my god, we can get this great card, like I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna play with my friends, not I need to open this box and scour the internet for the cheapest place I can find it to try to eke like coming out even, you know. And that's probably our fault. I think it's also Wizards' fault, and I think they're recognizing that with we're gonna stop making this.
I think it's one of those like circumstances where we are our own worst enemy, and we have turned this into a problem that it never needed to be. Like none of these master sets could have happened, and we could be sitting here thinking at like, well, not necessarily. We would be looking at like $120 Kozileks and like $120, well, probably like $300 Aether Vials. So if you look at it from that perspective, it accomplished a lot. It really did, but it's dead. Like it's done. It needs to be put to rest. Whatever they can do, their lore, or not their lore, but their theme sets, if they approach it from the perspective of like the conspiracies and stuff like that, it'll be fine. They just need to bring it down to a normal price. They need to get rid of that expectation of I'm buying a $10 pack, I need my value. Whereas it doesn't feel so bad when you're buying a $4 pack and you get like, I mean, it still doesn't feel great, but it's not as bad because you're not
1/20th of your price or whatever, you know, or whatever. And I think people were talking about in that same thread, $7, $5, $10, like limited. How limited should this be? Would we have 100 however many dollar Tarmogoyfs right now if like Modern Masters whatever was printed at a reasonable amount? Probably not. We'd have a $60 Tarmogoyf, like, which people could swallow. Like
I don't know. I'm starting to agree with a lot of the people that are just like, no card should be over like $20. You know, it's kind of crazy to think that way in a lot of ways because like there's so much value held in these cards. And inherently, I think that's actually going to become a problem more than anything else in the future years because your dollar isn't going as far as it used to. And I think Wizards is starting to reel from that effect as well, too, because they can't raise the price on their standard packs. They cannot. Otherwise, there'd be like full-on riots in the streets. No one would buy the product anymore because, they're stuck. You know what I mean? So they do things like this to increase their profit margins, which every company is striving to do that. So what are we going to see in replacement of this as their new vehicle to increase their revenue? And it might be these challenger decks and stuff like that, but the thing is if they do it right, no one cares.
Yeah, and I think it's I think that's called the Barnum effect, where it's just like you remember the worst or the best about something, and that's it. You love the circus because it's fantastic. Like, you know, you love the finale. You love the time that you pulled a foil mana crypt or two, like, and you forget the times that you know you do miss the 50-cent rare. Like, how many 50-cent rares have you opened? 1,000 probably. But you remember the 3 or 4 like really expensive cards, you know.
Yeah, and it truly is, like, I now that I've said it, it is our problem that we've created in a lot of ways, and we should take the perspective of this game as I want to play it for fun, not I want to invest in it. And I think that's a big part of the problem too, is investors have kind of turned, like, it sucks because I used to have that mindset too, you know, like, I want to pull this card so I can sell it and turn it around for profit. But really, should you be relying on cardboard to invest in? Like, that makes zero sense if you actually think about it. Yeah, obviously there's like always going to be intrinsic value in like the first couple of sets, you know, like the dual lands, so on and so forth. The non-reprintable cards, I even think if they'd put those on reprints, they would still be extremely valuable because of the age at this point. Like, that card is 25 years old, you know, like, it should have fallen apart years ago probably. So I don't know,
it's interesting. I used to do that where I'd say this card is going to go up in price, like I said, Stronic Resonator, I probably got 15 or 16 of those just through trades, or like Chromatic Lantern, when that rotated out, I'm like, this is huge, anybody who plays a 3-color deck is going to put one of these in there. Of course they reprinted it and stuff, but after I gave that up, and after I gave it up, like, Magic was a lot more fun.
Oh yeah, because it turns itself back into what it's supposed to be, which is a fun game to play
and to collect, like, because some people do just collect, they don't play, they don't spec.
No, they just look at the artwork and it's just like, this is amazing, and it's just like, if that's what you enjoy, that's what you enjoy. If you enjoy financing, don't get me wrong, I want you to be able to do that, but at the same time, are we destroying the game we love because we are trying to be so focused on value? And that's what I guess my main point of all this is just like, do I need my pack to open up and make me a profit to have fun with it, or do I just need the card to play to have fun with it? And those are two very different things. And I think, you know, we could talk a million years about all of this, because it's just like, a lot of people argue that the internet era has really caused a lot of these problems, because now everything's so accessible so fast. You instantly know what a card is good for, what a card is bad for. There's no mystery anymore, and that's why I think a lot of people gravitate towards Commander, because there is a sense of like discovery still, because you have that, oh, I should try this card with this card, and it, you know, it's been done before, but it's not talked about like Legacy and Modern and Standard are, because those formats are solved right away.
There's 700 equations to play in Commander, and multiple ways to solve each deck for each commander.
I like how this is kind of transitioned into like a wonderful example. Commander is amazing. Everybody should play
Commander up here, everything else down here.
Yep, everything else sucks. That's not true. Every
true.
format has its place.
It's true.
I've even started to enjoy playing Modern. I mean, it's different, that's for sure. You know, you kind of are metagaming all the time because it's like, what am I up against? What do I need to do? Whereas Commander is just like, I have no idea what this guy's doing, but let's see what happens. So anyway, I've got to get to work here pretty soon. We're recording this at a little bit different time than we normally do. So I think with that, we've definitely talked about it. It's an hour and 8 minutes in. If you guys have differing opinions, obviously let us know in the comment section. Once again, check out the Patreon if you're interested. And then, try and, you know, have a good time with Masters 25. Hopefully things turn around. I don't think they're going to. But we will see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Peace.